Hello. In this video, we are going to add a feature to our Space Invaders game so that the aliens will drop bombs. So this process is going to be kind of like Fire Laser, but it's definitely going to have some differences to it. So if we look back at how Fire Laser works, we use the add function to add a laser, but that was all based on when the user pressed the space bar. But the adding the laser part will be about the same. So I'm going to break this up into two different parts. And this is a good way to think about most programming challenges of trying to get at least something to happen, and then maybe controlling that process a little bit better. So the first part I'm going to look for is just getting aliens to drop bombs. And it will just be an overwhelming amount. It won't be the right number. But then that part two will be of getting it to drop the right number and having the timing feel a little bit more natural. But let's just try to get a bomb to show up in the first place. All right, so um, we could just spawn one right here, but let's try to get a step closer. So in the Kaboom documentation, then um, we could take a look at some different functions that we have. So there's one called every. Is going to be pretty helpful here. So for the every function, we'll take in a tag and it will let me do something with all of those objects that are of that tag. Because I would like it so that kind of any alien could drop a bomb. And at least in my version of the game, that'll make it simple. So I'm going to use that every function to make it so that every alien can drop a bomb. So I'm trying to figure out a good spot for that. Um, Maybe between the on collide and the on key press. As long as I'm only inside of the game scene, that's where I want to be. So I'm going to call the every function. Takes in two parameters. The first one is the tag of the element that I'm interested in, and then the second one is the function for what happens with that. So I'm interested in the alien elements, the alien objects, and then comma, friends, arrow, curly braces. So now I get to write a function here, and I just want to add a bomb. So add parens and then square brackets, because I'm going to list some components here. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a tag that's going to be helpful. Give it a tag bomb, comma. For now, let's just make them rectangles that are like maybe 15 by 15. They will need an area eventually. I'll do collision. And let's give it a color of black. Just 0, 0, 0. If you want the color black, just give it no color for any of the components there. Oh, and I do want them to just inherently move down. So I use the move function, which takes two parameters. The first one is either a direction or a vector, for which direction should you go. And then the second one is the speed. So they do have this constant called down, so I can just use that, comma, and then the speed I want to go at. I don't know, 400. So just know this is a constant that's just defined in Kaboom. It's just a variable that holds some actual data instead of us typing that out. I believe, yeah. So down, I mean, it's this vec2 thing. It's a vector that tells us that there's 0x movement, but positive y movement. It just combines it all together. All right, so I think that's pretty much the idea. So let's see what happens if we play that. Oh, and then the position. Yep, I didn't do the position yet. The error that I got is that this move component requires it to have a position. So I could do that at the top here. So pause. In the meantime, let's just do like 100, 100. I just want to see this show up. And then comma between all the components here. Okay, so that's what we see so far. I'd like it to really kind of come from the alien, so whatever alien is dropping this bomb, that it actually comes from them. So this also feels like firing the laser. We would like to say something like alien dot pause, just like in fire laser we said player dot pause. Now we have a variable called player, so that's why that worked. I don't have a variable called alien. I only have these tags here. But that's exactly what those parentheses are for, is you get a parameter for this function. So we can get a variable here, and that's the way that every works, and that's also the way that on collide works. So I can just make up a variable name called alien, and just to enforce this idea, I'm just going to call it a. I'm just making up a variable here, and every will put the right data into that variable for me. Just like on collide told me what which laser was involved and which alien was involved, so it could destroy the right thing. So I can just capture that alien there. So then the position of this new bomb, instead of saying X and Y separately, it can just be A dot pause, just the position um, of the alien. Those pause things, it's what we call a vector. It's X and Y just combined together. So this should make it so that it comes from all the aliens. Yep. So we see the bombs dropping there. Um, they all show up because for every one of those aliens, then it creates that. So we do have bombs showing up. They're moving down. There's a bunch of them, but there's definitely too many, and they're not going at the right time. But we're making good progress in the right direction. So we just want to figure out how to time that better and control that better. So let's see that in the next video.